everyone, welcome back to the 16x AI coding stream. Today we'll be taking a look at something that probably you only care about if you're building more complex apps. That will be end-to-end testing. So yeah, we'll be adding an end-to-end test for our desktop app, which is like a GUI desktop application. So we'll do some end-to-end tests to ensure that when we add new features, the app doesn't break, and then to improve its stability. Yeah, so that's basically why you would want to have end-to-end tests. That's basically to automate the QA and testing step of building the app, and we'll be using Claude Code to do that. So instead of writing the end-to-end tests manually, we'll try to use Claude Code to automate this. I think I tried it before and it worked, so I want to add more tests today to test more features. So first thing first, how we're gonna use Claude Code. So I like to run Claude Code inside my IDE, which is cursor here. You can see where I have a shortcut CC that allows me to open up Claude Code with the bypass permissions. So in this way, I don't have to toggle the auto approve. And I'm using the Sonnet model, the default one on $20 plan. So I like to use Sonnet because it's cheap, and honestly there's not much difference between Sonnet and Opus in terms of raw coding performance. So I just use Sonnet to save money, and I think it should also be faster because it's a smaller model. Yeah, so that's basically my Claude Code setup. Of course, I have the Claude.md file that tells the model how to what are the features inside, how to run the various scripts and workflows. So that's all set up. This is pretty important because we'll be writing a lot of scripts and the model needs to know how to run them. I'll go over the end-to-end test script, I think soon. Alright, so that's my Claude Code setup, and I'm gonna do a little bit of introduction on what we're working with, the project. So this project that I'm working on is a Next.js, sorry, not Next.js, it's an Electron app. I don't know why I say Next.js. The landing page is Next.js, and the project itself is a Electron app. So it runs locally. So if I run it, you can see it's like a local app that would be similar to Spotify or Discord. So this is running locally, but because this is Electron, so I can write in TypeScript, JavaScript, or Vue.js in this case. So I decided to use Vue.js for this app. So yeah, so that's the tech stack, and you can see here it's actually gotten quite a lot of lines of code. It's like 9k lines of TypeScript and 13k of Vue.js. So it turns out that to make this app work, like this is an eval app, to create and run evals, it's actually quite complicated. So you have to manage all the models. You have the models here, and then you can have open router models, custom models, and then when you run the evaluation, you can have experiment, system prompt, context, you have tools, and then you have other parameter to set, and then you have the models. So it turns out that when you add all this together, it's actually quite hard to make an app specifically for evaluation. And this model is this app that I made is actually quite comprehensive. You have the experiments to organize your evaluations. You have evaluation functions, which can either do a string text-based matching, or you can write your own functions in JavaScript to evaluate the output. I also have benchmarks, prompt, library, context library, and support for tool calls. So this app is, believe it or not, it's not very trivial. That's why I needed end-to-end tests, because there are a lot of different models, like all these models and all these different pages that it's actually quite complex to test manually. So I really need to add some end-to-end tests. Yeah, so that's why I'm trying to do more end-to-end tests for my app today using Claude Code. Yeah, so basically it's an Electron app. If you're not aware, Electron is basically a framework to help you build cross-platform desktop apps. So this app can run on macOS, Windows, and Linux, and you can build your app using JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So that's what I'm using. I'm using Vue.js and TypeScript, which is a framework and a library. Yeah, so that's the app. And if you're not familiar with end-to-end tests, so here's how it works. So basically, end-to-end test means that you run the script that automate testing your app without manually clicking, right? So let me show you an example. Maybe I'll do an example first before I do the introduction of what is Playwright. So let me just run a simple test script. So I'm gonna run this script, and then you can see how it works. Oh, what's happening? Why is this script like that? Okay, so I'm just gonna run this script, and then my hands will be off the keyboard, and you can see the app is just running on its own. So I'm not touching the keyboard, the app is just running on its own. So basically it's a script to automate clicking on the UI, so that you can automatically test the app behavior. So this test is a very simple test to basically go and enter the API key. I'm gonna run it again. Enter the API key, and then go back, create a new evaluation, and then check, select the model, and then check the result. So that's basically the basic end-to-end test. So basically you can automate testing this with some scripts. That's the concept of an end-to-end test. And to do that, we need a library or framework to run them. So for this case, I'm gonna use Playwright, which is typically used to test web apps, like those written in JavaScript or React or Vue.js. I think a lot of new apps are written in this tech stack, so this works for all of them, like Next.js, for example. But it also works for desktop apps, specifically for Electron. So if you're using Electron, you can also use Playwright, like I'm doing here. Yeah, it also works. So that's Playwright. And one particular note I want to make is that I'm not using the Playwright MCP. So for those who don't know, Playwright actually has a MCP server, but I'm not gonna use it. So I'll explain why I'm not using it. So firstly, I've tried the Playwright MCP server. It's not very good. So in general, all the cloud models are not very good at image or like design kind of tasks. So they are very bad at UI. So even with the Playwright MCP, they still cannot get a good understanding of how the layout is, how the UI should be structured, and where are the elements. So it's not very useful. That's the performance. And secondly, the way Playwright MCP works is you need to send an image. So basically the Playwright script will take a screenshot and then send a screenshot to the model. which takes in the image. So this is actually very expensive because the images cost a lot more tokens than the text. So let's say if you're using Claude Code and you're using MCP server to send all the screenshots and all that, it's gonna cost you a lot of tokens and make you run out of your Claude Code credits much faster. And on top of the image cost, there's also a tool cost, right? So I published this post on LLM context management a while ago. Basically, you can see here, if you have the MCP tools enabled, sorry, not this one, this one. So in this case, I have the Playwright MCP installed, and you can see it's 11k tokens, right? It takes up 11k tokens just to enable these tools. So basically, before you do anything, you already use 11k tokens just to load these tools into the context window so that the model knows how to use the MCP. So the mere presence of this MCP tools is gonna take up a lot of space in your context window and cause the model to not do so well on other tasks. So that's the main reason, or maybe the 3 reasons why I don't use the Playwright MCP server. One is it's not very good at UI tasks. Secondly, it's costs a lot of tokens to send binary images. Thirdly, it takes up a lot of context window just by loading the tools. So even if you're not using the MCP server, it's still gonna take up the context, right? So that's a bad thing. So yeah, so I explained why I don't use the MP server. And then now let's try to actually add some tests, right? So what I'm gonna do here is maybe I'll show another demo of how it works currently. So I've already set up the basic test script, so that is this one. It basically do a bunch of things like go into the settings page, enter the OpenAI API key from my environmental variable, click a back button to the main page, create a new evaluation, and then enter some sample text, select Open Router AI, and then run the evaluation, right? And then we should get a new evaluation result. So that's what basically it is trying to do. So let me just run the sample again. You can see it's actually quite fast. I added some timeout here so that I can monitor the progress, but it's actually very fast. So it's actually executing the test, and then it's already done before I finish talking. Yeah, so it took 14 seconds to execute this test. And this is a very basic test, so I want to add more tests. So I think the first test I'm gonna add is to actually increase the number of models to 2, right? So instead of entering OpenAI API key and using a GPT 4.1, I'm gonna ask the end-to-end test to also enter Anthropic API key and then select a cloud model in addition to a GPT model, so that I can test that it works for multiple models, right? So that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna put it in the same end-to-end test because it's just one whole entire flow, right? So I mean, if it works for 2 models, it should also work for 1 model. That's the assumption. So let's see. I'm gonna write some prompt. So I like to write my prompt first in a very large space, so I have some space to write. Add a new, sorry, it shouldn't be add a new, right? So it should be actually update the existing end-to-end test to also include adding Anthropic API key in addition to OpenAI API key. Also, when creating a new evaluation, select the first model from Anthropic in addition to OpenAI. Okay, Anthropic is somehow not recognized as a word, so let me add that word to whisper flow. Update the assertion to check that we have two new rows and the model names are correct. Should contain GPT and Claude. Okay, so I think that's gonna be the prompt I'm gonna use for this task. I think I need to be more specific on which test it is, so I'm gonna write this visiting end-to-end test, this one. Okay, I think I also need to tell it where is my Anthropic API key. Give me 1 second, I need to hide my screen. Let me check where is my Anthropic API key. Okay, so I have the Anthropic key here. Okay, I think this is good enough. So I'm expecting Claude Code to be able to handle this task. So let's try it out. Okay, interestingly, Claude is adding a Claude model to end-to-end test. That's pretty interesting. I think Claude Code had a recent update that brought back the number of tokens, which is nice. Now I can see if Claude Code is actually working or it's stuck in some weird state. Okay, so it's, oh wow, so it made all the edits in one shot. That's interesting. So I guess Claude Code thinks this is very easy, so it just one-shot zero-shotted the entire task. Let's see. Okay, so I think it didn't run the test. Maybe it's because it's very cautious of the API keys. So I'm gonna ask it to run the test and then ensure that it works. Run the test via ensure that all the assertion works and the behaviors are correct. Let me check the assertions. Okay, I guess this is fine. Okay, so now it's running the end-to-end test. So now we have two API keys. We have OpenAI and then Anthropic. Great. We start the evaluation. We have two responses and we should have the assertion, right? Run one more time. Okay. I don't really understand why it needs to run one more time, but I guess Claude is very careful. Okay, that's nice. Evaluation creation confirms one row contains. Actually, it should be a new experiment, right? Otherwise, it will already contain GPT and Claude. Yeah. Okay, so I think I need to modify my requirement a bit. Okay, now add a step after entering the API key to create a new experiment before creating the evaluations. Create a new experiment by navigating to the experiment page and clicking on the create new button. I think it's called create new button, not sure what's the name. New experiment, yeah. New experiment button. Yeah, I think this will make it more useful, so it will actually simulate more closely the user behavior. Oh, it doesn't even need to look at the code to understand how to navigate. That's interesting. I would expect it to at least read the code first to understand how to navigate. Yeah, it looks like it failed, right? Interesting. Yeah, so this is kind of, it's iterating on its own, right? So you run the test, got back the log, and then it's updating the end-to-end test. So that's what I want to see, right? So instead of me writing the end-to-end test, it will just run the end-to-end test and get back the error or success, and then continue to iterate on it. Yeah. I think this is a good use case for models. Okay, now it's, I think I should just tell it to look at the experiment page, right? I don't understand why it's not looking at the experiment page. Okay, it's still creating the evaluations on the inside the sample experiment, not the new experiment. So that's still not the actual behavior. So I'm gonna interrupt here. After creating the new experiment, click on the newly created experiment card and check that we're navigated to the evaluation page with the newly created experiment selected. You should actually read the code on the experiment page and evaluation page to understand how it's structured before writing end-to-end tests. Yeah, so it's like telling my junior devs to read the code before writing tests. That's kind of crazy. It's just writing end-to-end tests and assuming the things are there without understanding the code, which is quite dangerous. Yeah, it's weird. I would expect it to read the code first, but it's not. Maybe it's getting nerfed again. I don't know. Let me check Anthropic status to check this every day. Oh shit. Wait. Is this a new issue? No, this is not a new issue. This is the old one. Okay. I thought there's a new issue. Okay, so this is basically still talking about the old one. And today there's no downtime. Okay, nice. Let's see if it managed to fix the problem. Okay, so create new experiment, click on it, and then test. Okay, looks nice. So yeah, so basically this is what I expect to happen. I think it should also assert that there are only 2 rows. Yeah. don't run it multiple times. I don't know why it run multiple times. Maybe I need to update my Claude. When testing end-to-end, when running end-to-end test, only run the test once. Don't run it multiple times if the first time succeeded. Yeah, okay. So I just added it to my Claude Code. Okay, so I think, yeah, I want to add an assertion for only 2 rows. Since this is a new experiment, please add an assertion that there are only 2 rows after the evaluations have completed. Also add an assertion before running the evaluation that there are no rows. Yeah, I think we need to do that, so kind of to catch the negative example, just in case it's using the sample experiment. Okay, so looks like it's working. It's pretty nice. So we have a more comprehensive test now. More robust end-to-end test. Let me think what else should I add for end-to-end test. I think there's a lot more to add. Okay, I think a good test to have is to add a new open router model. Yeah, so let's try to ask Claude Code to add a new end-to-end test to add a new open router model inside the model library. I think that would be quite hard. I mean, quite more work to do. Yeah. Yeah. So let me write the prompt. So this is gonna be a other task. So need to write it more carefully. I need to use WhisperFlow. Add a new end-to-end test to test the flow of adding a new open router model. It should be a new end-to-end test that is run when I run the command. I think when I run this command, it should run. Let me check. Yeah, so it should be running when I run this command. Okay, so it should be a new end-to-end test that is run when I run the command this or that. Okay. So let me describe more in details. Understand the code base before writing the end-to-end test. And process, steps, or until the end. Yeah, okay. Select the first model that is available in the model list dropdown. Okay, I should also provide an example, right? Test should run after this. Yeah, I want to define the order of how the test is run so that we can set up some stuff first and then run the other tests. So that's the concept. I think this is good enough for a prompt. So let's try it out. I'm gonna point Claude Code to this file because it's used as reference. Yeah, so I'm gonna paste my long prompt inside. I think this is pretty good. Let's see how long does Claude Code take. I think it should be done within like 3 or 5 minutes, given that it was able to one-shot the previous request, or zero shot technically. So this will be a one-shot task because I provided an example. So it has one example to learn, which is one shot. If you have 0 examples to learn, that is 0 shot, right? So this is a one-shot prompting. Okay, looks like it's giving me this red text, and then now it's yellow. I'm not sure what the red signifies. Okay. Yeah, so this task is gonna be slightly harder because it's a new page and a lot of new models to understand. And then it needs to kind of be included inside a very specific script, this one. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit more tricky. So needs to basically add a step here, and then I think on the CI it should also run. Oh, okay, so it's already finished writing the test. Let's check models. I don't think it's models, it should be model library. So already the first step is wrong. That's not a very good sign. Okay. Oh, okay, so it's updating the script. Nice. Wait, where's the script? Oh, okay, here it is. So okay, I think it's just trying to handle the result. That's nice. I think the page for models is not models, it's something else. Please check the code base. Yeah, I just want to check if Claude Code can actually understand this by itself. It should realize its mistake, right? Basically, the page is called model library, not models, so it's made a mistake, and I'm just trying to correct the mistake. I could have corrected the mistake myself, but it's more fun to let Claude Code do it. Okay. Now you can run the test by running. Okay, so I'm gonna ask it to run this particular script to skip building. Verify that the newly added test works. Okay, now it's gonna run actually 2 tests, right? It will first run the previous test and then it will run the second test. I guess it's fine, but sometimes I want to skip the first one, but then I need to clean the data, so yeah, it's not clear how to best do this, but I think this is fine for now. Okay, so it's added new open router model. Okay, but it cannot find the place to select. That's funny. Yeah, I think it's kind of stuck here. And the timeout is quite long, so I guess it's just stuck. Okay, luckily it has some sane timeout. I think we should skip the API key setup, right? Okay, maybe we can skip the first test by providing an additional argument to the script, so that we can focus on testing this new end-to-end test. Okay, yeah, I think this will save some time. Otherwise, it's gonna keep running the first test. Yeah, okay, so now it's gonna skip the first test and then just run the second test. Okay. Okay, so it also added a new script. Okay. I think yeah, that's a pretty good move. Yeah, I would also do that to avoid repeating myself. Okay, it looks like it's having trouble operating on the drop-down. So let's see if we can fix the problem itself, right? I guess this is a little bit more tricky because it's an Electron app that is written in Vue.js. Might not be the easiest to navigate around with Playwright. Wait, did it work or not? Not too sure. Looks like it didn't work. Yeah, we're on the wrong tab. Yeah, now it's updating and trying it again. It's nice. Okay, so now it's correct. Interesting. Okay, so I have 2 more feedback for the current status. Let me just tell Claude Code. Okay, this works, but can you navigate to the Open Router tab before creating a new model? Also, add some timeout when performing drop down and clicks so that a human can observe and check. Yeah, I think this is good enough. I want to be able to see how it creates the new models because it's so fast that I cannot see. So I'm just asking it to add some timeout so that I can actually see what's happening. Shenaniganing, okay. I think this is a reference to humans, I guess. How come I cannot see the drop down being opened? I'm not sure why. Let me just run it myself. I don't know why I cannot see the drop down. Yeah, I can't see the drop down. I'm not using Claude Code Max. I'm using the Pro, just the $20 one. Yeah. If you're wondering how to save money, I just explained. Don't use MCPs; they are very expensive, especially the Playwright MCP. Sending images costs a lot of tokens, and having a lot of tools also costs a lot of tokens. So if you manage your contacts well, you can get a lot more done with $20 instead of $100 or $200. That's my advice. I'm on the $20 plan. Let's see, right? So I think it works, but I can't see the drop down interactions. Okay, the timeout is too much. Reduce it to like half a second or 1 second. Also, I can't see the drop down interactions. Let me check if it's actually doing the drop down interaction. Oh, okay, so it's just setting the option. Can you actually mimic the drop down clicking instead of just setting the value? This might be a little bit tricky. What's that saying? Okay, speaking Chinese. This is the English stream, so try to speak English. Can practice English with me. It's more useful for prompting models, right? Especially Claude Code. See the down structure that I need to understand. Okay. Oh, timeout. Okay. I think it misunderstood what I mean by timeout. That's weird. It shouldn't misunderstand, right? I think that's a pretty big misunderstanding. I'm obviously talking about the timeout introduced just now. Wait, why is this here? Oh, okay. So I think I sent. Shit, I sent to the wrong chat. This is the older chat. I should remove them. No wonder it's like giving the wrong thing. Oh no, I copied the wrong prompt. Okay, let me try to redo it. Reduce the timeout in the test to about half a second to 1 second. Also, instead of setting the drop down option, try to mimic the human clicking. Yeah, this is a English stream, so try to use English if you can. I can read Chinese, but not everybody can, so. Okay, let's see. It's trying to do the click. Find the first option and then click. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's ask it to run the test again. See, okay, so it works. So the drop down is open, but it can't click on the first element, I guess. Okay. I think I encountered this bug before, that Playwright can't click on the first element, so there has to be some other way to do it. Yeah. Okay, unfortunately it can't really click. This is a native macOS element inside the browser, so that might cause some problems for the model. Let's see how Claude Code solved this problem. Maybe there's a way to do it. Yeah, so it's identified clicking on option can be tricky, so yeah, use the keyboard, right? Yeah, I think that's a good way. Yeah, I think I also used that workaround last time when I was playing with, when I was actually using Playwright for work. So you need to mimic the keyboard up and down arrow instead of clicking on it. Okay, looks like it didn't actually work. Still, maybe my mouse cursor was interfering. Not sure. I don't think the I don't think the arrow keys work, but they should work. Let me take a look. The arrow keys and keyboards doesn't seem to work. Try again. Okay, so it's just reverting back to the set option. Okay, sure. Oh, it's actually opening and then, okay, so it's actually opening it and then setting the option. Okay, that's probably a good solution. So it's clicking on the drop down and then set the option, right? So I guess that's a good compromise to have. Nice. Why don't we also add assertion for the model name, right? That would be quite cool. Can we try to get the model name and then assert it after we add it? Yeah, we can capture the model name and then make sure that we actually created the correct model. Yeah. Okay, it's already know that the open router model start with OR. That's pretty good. Okay. I think it should be working. Okay, nice. Looks like it works. So just to triple confirm, let me run the script myself, because sometimes Claude can lie to you, so you must run the script yourself to verify. Okay, looks good. Okay. Okay, I don't like the drop down, like blocking the view, so can we dismiss the drop down somehow? Can we dismiss the drop down after we set the option? It's blocking the view. Oh, press escape. Okay, I think probably works. Probably works. I hope it doesn't dismiss the model. Oh no, it dismissed the model. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay. This dismisses the model. I think just click on some other elements as a workaround to the problem, because I set the keyboard listener to dismiss the model when I intercept a escape, so that's why it doesn't work. Oh, okay. Now we can see what's actually happening. Nice. Okay, I think we can squeeze in one more small feature, that is to add a new predefined open router model. So in addition to this, we also add a predefined open router model that is already pre-populated. Okay, so let me commit this and then add that last request. In addition to adding the first model, also add the first predefined model in the open router model I guess. I forgot what you call the models. I think it's something called, let me check what this is called. Wait, oh, why is my data gone? No, okay, so it overrode it didn't restore the data. Oh, okay, that's still fine. Yeah. I thought it overrode my data. Popular models, yeah. Yes. First model from drop down. Add a second model from open router. which is the first popular model shown in the model. Yeah, I think this is, yeah, I think this should work. Great idea. Okay. I like this reply. Great idea. Okay, so it's actually adding a new model. Okay, nice. Okay, this is the first one, and we should have the second one. Okay, it works. Okay, nice. Now we have two models. We have two counts, right? Okay. I hope the assertions are right. 12 elements. Why would there be 12 elements? Oh, okay. I think it's because of the models. Yeah, there's still models that are open. Weird. Why are we getting multiple elements? I can only see two. Somehow Playwright is getting multiple. Okay, so 18 seconds, nice. So let me try to run it myself. I'm gonna run the entire script. I think we should be able to get the entire script working now. One, two, back, new experiment, create, 54.1, apply haiku, okay, to test, open router model. Okay, nice. So yeah, so basically passed. Yeah, so looks like our ask to add end-to-end test was a success. So we extended the first test to cover more providers and more models, and then we added a new open router model test. I think it took a bit longer than I expected. Not sure why. Maybe I'll dig into what took up so much time, but yeah, overall it's a success, I would say. Didn't have to write any code. Yeah, that's all for today's stream. Thank you all for watching. I hope you learned something today and how to work with end-to-end tests with Claude Code. Basically, I suggest don't use MCP. They're not worth it, and just let Claude Code read the log. I mean, write the end-to-end test, run the end-to-end test, and then it will be able to feed the log back to itself and iterate on that. think that's what works for me. Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I will see you in the next stream. Bye.